Hello. So I've sold my HPI Savage X 4.6 Nitro. Sold it on eBay, got a decent price for it. The guy who bought it was really happy with it. Said it started really easy and he was looking forward to taking it out for a rip. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm glad someone is still enjoying it. And once that had gone, it's kind of missing having a Savage. So I saw this kit on eBay. See Savage XS SS. So small Savage, Super Sport. Obviously this one's electric, not nitro, but that's probably better for winter. And it is also a kit. So yeah, it's pretty much brand new. As you can see, it's got brand new wheels and tyres here. Haven't even been glued yet. Obviously got all four of those. Got the manual out earlier just to have a quick look. It is in multiple languages. So yeah, let's just take a look in the box and I'll show what it's like. It's similar to the Techno in that some of it has been built already. You can see they've built part of the front end here. Clearly not particularly well. And the drive cup is also pulling in and out a lot, so that'll need shimming correctly. We've also built the centre transmission. Seem to have done a bit of a better job with this. So although I'm not sure about the slipper clutch, I want that to be assembled correctly, so I'm going to rebuild this transmission quickly as well. And they've included a new pack of the uprights. These are like the hubs basically. I think the guy used this as a parts car because he did say some bits were missing again. So like the Techno had a few bits missing when I got it. He said a set of lower arms and upper arms and a hinge pin holder was missing. So there are a few bits missing, but I have ordered those from Model Sport already. This looks, oh yeah, it says there one rear hub missing. That's bag B in there. Then we have got some other bags which have been opened here. Bag E and E2, I'm guessing they're bits to do the transmission. Then we've got DF, some other bits in there. You can see pretty much all of these bits are unopened for the most part. They're like the TVPs, I think, in there. What's in here? That looks like maybe the battery tray holder. We've got the body mounts and the wheel hexes in there. And by the looks of it, the shocks as well. This has got aluminium threaded shocks. It's also got universal drive shafts, which are in there, look. So yeah, looks like it comes with some thread lock. Although it did come with this little bottle of thread lock in here already, so that's quite nice. I've got one of those already, but you never have too much thread lock. And then what's in here? I think we got some bits from the rear end in here. And then in the bottom, I think they're the part numbers that it needed, which I've already ordered. So I'll just stick that to one side. And then in this bag here, we have the HPI DVD, which is quite funny if anyone has a DVD player anymore. We've got an aerial tube, some Allen keys and stuff, and then maybe a spare body post and some plastic bits. It's like plastic hexes, although they have metal ones in there somewhere, so yeah. And then there's another manual and some other sheets in here probably telling you don't run over yourself and all that. So yeah, you can see the box is pretty faded, so the guy probably had this as a spares car for quite a while, but it seems to be mostly here and it is brand new. Oh, the other thing that's missing as well is a body shell, but for the price of this it was well worth buying all the bits. It needed about £10 in parts just for the arms and these bits here, maybe 10-15 quid. and then a body shell is about 20 quid. You can get a pre-painted one for I think 30, but I'm going to do a custom paint job and see how that goes. Thinking maybe a metallic blue, and yeah, I quite like these wheels as well. I miss having shiny wheels because all the cars these days have black wheels, so I don't know how good these tyres are. All the reviews say they're rubbish, but we'll see. Also, it don't come with electronics, but as you might know, I've got plenty of motors, so I just need an ESC for it. I've got plenty of servos as well. So anyway, probably going to start by tearing this bit down and just checking through the manual and make sure it was built correctly. So yeah, that's my new Savage project. Might take me quite a while, but yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to film all of it, but I'll film any interesting bits for you. So I've just quickly taken the front bumper off, and you can see here there's no grease on the diff, or very little grease on the diff, so that's not a good sign. I'm not sure why this screw here is silver as well. That's a bit weird. Anyway, let's carry on taking it apart. I've only literally taken 4 screws out and those 2 little clips that hold the front bumper on so far. So I've managed to get the front end pretty much all torn down now. Mainly I wanted to get to the diff and this piece here, which is like the diff pinion holder. There's millions of screws in this, way too many in my opinion. But yeah, I've left a few of them in. Bits that I don't need to rebuild, like the drive shafts and hubs, because they're okay. But I am definitely going to rebuild the differential and check that. There's only been 1 strip screw so far, which was that one next to the silver one on the bottom, and I only just got that off with the MIP driver, so the guy must have been using some normal Allen keys or something. That's probably why I put a silver one in the other one, because it was stripped. And that silver one's also a bit shorter, so I wonder if he stripped that one and then thought he put a short one in the other side just so he didn't strip that as well. But I've got MIP screwdrivers, so I should be fine with all of the heads fully tightened up. So yeah, let's tear into this diff. It feels like it's got oil in it, so we'll check it's shimmed correctly and all that. So we just got the diff apart. It had a microscopic amount of grease in there, so I'm just going to fill it with some 7,000 weight oil. This is the front, so I'm probably going to go with 7 in the front, maybe 5 or 3 in the rear. Haven't decided yet, but yeah, this is going to get some oil in it, because it does have rubber gaskets, these little rubber gaskets here, so it should be alright to put oil in. I know some of these older HPI cars don't have rubber gaskets, so you just have to fill them with grease and hope for the best, but if you can put oil in, might as well. Handle a lot better. So it's at this point in the build where you normally put your grease in, but obviously in the manual it doesn't say that. You can see I've got plenty of grease on there. Just turn it around a bit. Plenty of grease all the way around on that gear there, and that's before I just need to put the metal plate on the bottom and the bumper back on. Then we've pretty much finished the front end off to where it started. Now there were a couple of bits that were wrong on this. So on the front here, well actually this is the wrong side, but one of these screws was 10mm when they're both meant to be 12. And then on the front side here, these were both 12 when they're meant to be 18mm. On the hubs you can see this one here is 20mm on that side, and that was 18mm. These were both 18. For some reason there isn't another 20, which is what it's supposed to be, so I've just put an 18 for here on now. I'll put a 20 cap head on later on. So there we go, front end fully built. That's basically bag A. The other guy had almost done all of this, but obviously I've torn it all down, built it all back up again. I did find a 20mm screw for that other side, and yeah, you can see I had to replace both those screws underneath with brand new 10mm, because even the MIP driver was just spinning in all of these 10mm screws here, so he's clearly tried a few and then tried an 8. So I've got a few 10s in this set here. They're not cap heads, they're only stainless steel, but yeah, you can tell the difference when you have a decent driver between a stripped head and a decent head, and these were incredibly stripped. I was having to push this in literally all the way to the bottom of the screw, so there's probably just a couple of millimeters left on them inside the bottom of the head, which is what happens when they get rounded out, because obviously the Allen key's rounded more off at the end so it doesn't mess up the very bottom. But yeah, it's gone together correctly now. You can see I've just got that lip on there correct, and yeah, everything else was actually pretty much okay. The turnbuckles were a bit far out, but yeah, it's nice and smooth now. It still wobbles in and out there, which I don't really like, so I'm just going to leave it for now. Hopefully the centre drive shaft holds it in. So today we're starting on bag B. Got all the bag B bits out. Already done the rear diff, just waiting for the bubbles to come out. Put 5,000 weight in this one, as you can see there. This is the rear obviously now. So yeah, just screwing it together. We'll see how it goes. I've finished building this part now. Obviously I haven't put the grease on because I'll do that right before I seal it up, but it is nice and smooth. And I've also just built the drive shafts as well, so we're up to number 14 now. Got to assemble the hubs and rear arms next, which I'll need the new hubs for. Obviously there's only one hub in this bag, but there's a spares bag in here with a set of new bits on. We've got about as far as we can get with the rear end now, because I need one more hinge pin holder, the hinge pins and the bottom arms there. So that's about as far as we can go. I've also put that on there, but obviously I can't put the rear bumper on and do all that because I haven't got the bottom arms in yet. So that's where we're up to with that bit, so I'm just going to move on to the next step, which is bag C. Did bag C and D last night, so I've got the TVPs together now and the battery box screwed on, which is all that really was. So yeah, got the steering set up. You can see I'm using the Savox servo that was in my X-Ray, but the X-Ray's got a brushless servo in now, so I'm going to put it in this instead. It's 15 kilograms and pretty quick, so it should be alright for this. The steering went together fine. The servo saver unfortunately isn't adjustable, which is a bit annoying, but it seems a bit, I mean, you can see how much play there is in that, but obviously there's nothing holding the bottom of that post yet either. So yeah, but looks like the motor and transmission just slip into here. So I've just opened bag E and it looks like the truck actually comes with both a 24 and a 28 tooth pinion gear. I guess the 24 tooth is meant for running 3S and the 28 is meant for running 2S. It's also got an extra like spur gear thing here, and if you look it says to run 28 56 as standard, just there, but also there I've got the 24, so I'm guessing that I've got the 60 tooth as well, which should be good for running 3S, because obviously it's gearing it down a little bit. So I'm just going to run mine on 2S for now, so I'm just going to put the 28 in, and it's only a few more bolts to put the motor on. You can see I've got the front end attached now, got the TVPs on, got the transmission in, got the servo in, battery box is connected, I haven't put this cover on yet because I need to cut a little bit more out of this bit here just to go around the motor wires. I've also built the shocks. Still haven't been to Model Sport to get the bits for the back end yet because they haven't messaged me to say I can come in and collect them, which is a bit annoying. I also built the radio box, although that was literally just 3 screws and putting the gasket in. So I've still got the ESC and all that because I need to mount the rear end first. So that is kind of holding me up now. Pretty much done most of what I can. The shocks are really nice. All aluminium threaded body, and I think they're about 50 quid a set or 40 quid a set to buy. So the fact that they come with this kit, and that's for a pair, basically paid less for the whole kit than just these shocks are to buy by themselves. They also come with other pistons as well. And yeah, that's the mounting hardware to put these onto the shock towers. Obviously I can only do the front ones at the minute, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. I still have quite a few bits to put on as well, and I still have the tyres to glue. So, but I am just really waiting on the bits for the back end now, the hinge pin holder and the rear arms. So a quick little update on the Savage here. As you can see, I've finished the front and centre section. Still waiting on some parts, getting pretty bored now. I've just stuck a Hobbywing Max 10 SCT in for now. Unfortunately it doesn't fit in the ESC tray, so I've just stuck it up there. I've got a Armour BLX 100 ESC coming, so hopefully that'll be here soon. The other problem as well is because my battery plugs stick out the top rather than at a right angle. The battery don't fit in the battery box. These connectors here, which the motor's plugged into this kind that are right angled, those do fit in the battery tray with the battery, and then the wires can stick out that hole there. But obviously they've got 4mm bullets on and the ESC's got an XT90 on, so I might have to bodge up a connector for that. Anyway, it does turn on and run now, so got a receiver in there, Fly Sky GT5 receiver. I took that out of the X-ray because I'm not getting an engine for that until next year now. So yeah, still got the G-Cool RC motor in, and obviously this is 2S. So let me turn the radio on and I'll show you it working. So you can see got a Savox on the steering. Not too bad speed, probably a bit quicker than stock, but not lightning fast. Got the endpoints set pretty much correctly. You can hear it's not really struggling, but it is turning all the way. There we go. So yeah, it is running now. However, still need the parts for the back end, getting pretty bored of waiting. So that's why I've done this. Basically put the entire thing together other than the rear end now. I even put the ESC cage on. So that's just guiding the wires. This isn't strapped down either, it's just loose on there. But you could actually cable tie a Max 10 SCT right underneath that roll hoop and it fits in there really nicely. So that's quite funny. I don't know what you'd really do with this bit though. It's just kind of there. Anyway, the shocks are pretty nice. Just take that tyre off. You can kind of see there. Nicely damped. So yeah, pretty pleased with it. Very nice and smooth as well. They're double sealed are these shocks. So yeah, just needs, like I say, those bits on the back end. So I've just been down to Model Sport to get the bits I needed. So I've got my wheelie bar, got my suspension arms, got this gear as well, even though I didn't really need that, but quite a few people on the Savage XS owners thread were saying they stripped them, so I've got a spare one of those. Got the hinge pins and the rear plate as well, so hopefully I'll be able to finish it off now. So that's funny, the ESC's just turned up. You can see I've got a Armour BLX 100, 45 quid off eBay, so not too bad. We'll have to change this connector obviously to an XT90. However, yeah, that's pretty good timing really, because it means I can get it all sorted and up and running. So I had the Max 10 SCT up here, but it's a little bit wide to fit in the proper casing, whereas the BLX is a bit thinner. Obviously I might have to cut these tabs off, but yeah, it should go in pretty well. So I've got the ESC here. I've just popped off that little grey cover thing from the IC5 and to expose the solder to desolder it. Now I'm just going to solder this XT90 on. Got the iron set to maximum powers, so yeah, let's go get XT90 on so I can test it. So there we go, got the IC5 off now. Put the XT90 on. I also need to remember to take the black plastic thing off and put the XT90 yellow one on as well. So there we go, we have a nice joint on both sides now, just need to wait for it to cool down. I've also put some heat shrink on there as well, so that hopefully it just gives it a bit of extra protection. It didn't have any heat shrink with the IC5, just had the cover, but the heat shrink will just cover the rest of it as well. So yeah, it should be okay now. The camera's not enjoying focusing on it though, because it's a pile of junk, but there we go, that's better. There we go, brand new XT90 on the Armour ESC, and just to double check, I've got the plus on the left hand side, which is there, which goes to the red on there, and the minus on that side going to the minus on that side. So it should be okay. Best way to test it now is plug the battery in, but yeah, it's come out pretty clean. Did slightly get some burn marks on it with the getting the heat shrink on, but yeah, it looks pretty nice now. And just need to cut those tabs off and then it'll be ready to go in the truck. So to mount the power switch, it's got this little tab on it to screw to the Armour chassis. So what I've done is, I was going to use this bolt which goes all the way through there to a nut, kind of like it does just here, but it isn't quite long enough with the switch on. So what I did was, I've just cut some M3 threaded rod and threaded it all the way through to the other side, which is just underneath those wires there, just there. And you can see now that the switch is mounted nice and solid, not going anywhere. And then the battery wire is just going to be threaded through there and come over there like that to the battery. For the ESC, I've just put the top on. It is kind of bowed up a little bit, but it seems to be fairly sturdy holding it in, so I'm just going to leave it like that for now and see how it goes. The receiver wire's in as well to the radio box, and my aerial's just kind of sticking out the middle there. Hopefully I don't get any interference from the motor wires. It's not ideal, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll be okay. Finally, the chassis is complete, other than the wheelie bar. But I've got all the electronics in, set up correctly, cable tied in the right position. Got some tape around the aerial here just to keep it up out of the way of all the drive shafts, which you can see through there. Got the motor in, shocks on, everything's all good. BLX 100 ESC, raised the punch level to number 5, so that should be good. And yeah, let me just put it down on the table so you can see the suspension. See, it is a little bit saggy at the back. Let me just show you how low it is. So it definitely needs maybe a little bit more winding down. Obviously if you were doing speed runs and you were going to do like 60 miles an hour, this setup would be probably good, but I think for bashing you need it to be a little bit taller. So yeah, but that is really low, really planted, and yeah, very nice.